Hi everyone, and welcome to Jane Talks Buffy, where I'll be talking about and reviewing all the episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer in order. Today I'm looking at Season 5, Episode 17, Forever. We begin the episode with Buffy wandering through some coffins picking one out for Joyce, but Dawn worries she won't like it.
She's the one who has to be in it forever.
And into the credits we go. Buffy and Giles continue discussing funeral details at the dinner table, and Buffy reveals that she and Joyce talked about her preferences before she went in for surgery. The phone rings, which Giles deals with, and Buffy's upset that her dad still hasn't called, and Dawn doesn't want to come back to the house after the funeral and asks to go to Willow's instead. Willow and Xander leave, running into Spike, who has flowers for Joyce, and the two boys get into an argument with Spike saying Joyce didn't treat him like a freak, and he stomps off. Xander doesn't trust his motives, but Willow points out that if they hadn't spotted him, he would have left the flowers anonymously. Aw, bless him. The next day is the funeral, shot with a bajillion close-ups, and while it's really sad, this giant pyramid grave cracks me up. Willow and Tara take Dawn away, leaving Buffy to mourn till the sun goes down, where she's joined by Angel, and at their place, Dawn is hostile towards Willow and Tara when they try to comfort her, before announcing that she wants to use magic to resurrect Joyce. There's a brief sex scene where Anya talks about life and death, but more importantly, Tara tells Dawn absolutely frickin' not on the Raise the Dead magic, while Willow is less helpful by saying there are books on the subject.
That's not the point. That's not the point. The point is it's bad.
But Dawn decides it is possible and is pissed that the girls won't help her. Buffy tells Angel how hard things are and how the unknown scares her because Joyce was the true strong one in the family, and she blames herself for not finding Joyce sooner and panicking when she did find her. Angel says he can stick around as long as she needs him, and feeling vulnerable, she kisses him, and realizing her mistake, she tells him to go, but genuinely appreciates him coming to support her. Ben runs into Jinx, who says Glory wants to encourage him to bang the location of the key out of Buffy, but Ben says he won't tell Glory anything. Unfortunately, however, accidentally referring to the key as innocent reveals that it's a person. With the cat out of the bag, Ben stabs Jinx, and then we get a sudden cut to the next day, where Dawn is still cranky. So, on her way to class, Willow magics a book off the shelf that tells Dawn about the history of resurrection. She goes to the magic box, and under the pretense of helping to dust, she snoops around, and Giles points out the off-limits area, so of course the second his back is turned, Dawn goes up there and steals some shit. That night, she collects dirt from Joyce's grave, but is caught by Spike, who warns her against what she's doing, but her pleading seems to work on him.
I'm not gonna tell, little bit. I'm gonna help.
Giles sits drinking by himself, listening to the same song he and Joyce listened to in Band Candy, while Dawn questions why Spike is helping out, after he says Buffy must never find out. Because he wants his buddy back, Dawn. Glory wonders where the hell Jinx is when he's brought in still alive. Way to not finish the job, dumbass! And Glory pulls her hair out when she finds out it was Ben, but cheers up when he reveals the key is a person.
Jinx! You rope stud! You're my man!
That's great and all, but are you going to help him? Spike and Dawn go to see a dude. Can't be human. Spike just walks straight in. And they meet Doc, played by Joel Grey, Broadway legend and father of Jennifer Grey, but I know him from that one episode of Voyager. Spike explains the situation, but Doc says not to mess with those kinds of spells, especially seeing as neither of them are witches, and pulls out some of Dawn's hair. Apparently there's good DNA in the family, so Joyce could be brought back. Maybe? But they're going to need a fresh egg from the nest of the Gora demon, and Doc fills her in on a few more details of the spell and warns that if the spell goes wrong, she should destroy the photo of Joyce she'll be using.
But she'll still be my mother. Won't she?
More or less.
Doc gives Spike directions to the Gora nest, and when Dawn tries to pay him, he refuses, instead creeping her out. And oh, that's not a good face. The pair goes into the sewer. Funny she had the foresight to bring a brush and a bobble with her to perfectly style her hair, and while Spike wants to handle the Gora alone, Dawn insists on helping.
Well, what do you know? Pity Buffy.
Spike distracts this Hydra-looking thing while Dawn grabs an egg, but as they retreat, she stumbles and breaks it, so they have to go back for another. Now, without a weapon, Spike gets nommed on, but gets away after Dawn scoops another egg. I've seen other places online count the Gora as dead, but it's still roaring when they leave, so as far as I'm concerned, it's still alive. Dawn calls on Osiris and performs the resurrection spell, while Willow starts a journal, wanting to record her life after Joyce's passing. And Tara notices the missing book and freaks out because the book contains information on how to find a resurrection spell, so they call Buffy to warn her. She arrives just as Dawn finishes the spell, and she warns her that these spells often go awry and the people come back wrong, but Dawn insists she got it right and refuses to reverse it.
Dawn, you know this is wrong. You know you can't let this happen. Not to Mom.
Dawn says she doesn't have anyone and Buffy doesn't want her around, and she accuses Buffy of not caring that Joyce died. Then it all gets a bit tearful.
I have to do these things, cause when I stop, then she's really gone. And I'm trying. Dawn, I am really trying to take care of things. But I don't even know what I'm doing.
She says she has to look out for the both of them, somehow.
Oh God, Donnie. I don't know what we're gonna do.
Oh no. Joyce bangs on the door and Buffy runs to answer it, so Dawn rips up the picture, reversing the spell, and they tearfully hug one another. I think because The Body is such a standout episode, people forget how powerful the end of this one is. One of the many things the show does so well is epic and relatable speeches, and Buffy's one hit me squarely in the feels. Joyce reminds me of my own mum, and the reason season 5 is such a hard watch for me is I can relate to what Buffy is going through. My mum had cancer, and it was such a scary time, waiting for results, hoping for good news, not knowing what to do or say for the best. Season 5 is too real for me, but luckily and thankfully, my mum recovered and it's all good, but there are points in the season, certain conversations that hurt, and Buffy's breakdown at the end of the episode that speak to my soul. I have been the responsible one, the one who has to get things done, that doesn't stop, the one that puts on a brave face for the sake of others, even though I'm crumbling inside. Now let's flip it the other way and look at Dawn's point of view, and this is why I have a problem with her character. She accuses Buffy of ignoring her, but she went straight from the funeral to stay with Willow and Tara, which was her choice. Then she went to the magic shop to nick stuff, then she went off with Spike, so how could Buffy be ignoring her when she hasn't been home? It just doesn't sit right with me that she makes everything all about her, and there are certain moments that come up throughout the show's run that highlight this selfishness that seems forced or out of place. The final scene is one such example, and there are many more over the next few seasons that I will point out as they happen. So let's look at the rest of the episode, and I understand Dawn's want to fix things because she feels helpless and she wants to bring back the most stable person in her unstable life. And good for her for seeing the spell through, taking on the Gora demon, and I also have a lot of respect for her for reversing the spell to save Buffy from having to face the trauma, something that is usually the other way around. There is a bit of foreshadowing in this one, and skip ahead if you don't want spoilers, but Buffy will be resurrected at the beginning of season 6, proving Doc correct that they do have good DNA for it. And he also warns the person could come back wrong, which is something Spike discovers about Buffy following the event. We also get another hint of Willow's recklessness with magic and Tara being the responsible one about it, as well as Dawn's tendency to steal stuff and her and Spike's friendship, which he also had with Joyce. Jinx survives Ben's attack. Seriously, I don't know why he didn't finish the job. It can't have been because he turned into Glory because she knew nothing about it, but anyway, it puts her on Dawn's trail, now knowing the key is human, and it's not the last we'll see of Doc either. So maybe now Glory will get off her ass and do something. Finally, it was nice to have Angel come back to support Buffy. Never been a big fan of his character, but it was a really sweet moment and I appreciated it. As I'm not counting Joyce, seeing as she just kind of disappeared, we have no deaths to add, leaving us with 25 humans, 1 transformation, 28 vampires, and 10 demons. So there you have it. That was Forever. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, or come say hi on social media. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit that like button, it really does mean a lot, or consider subscribing if you want to be sired by my channel. Alternatively, feel free to check out my other YouTube channels. Thank you so much for watching, I'll speak to you soon, and don't let the vampires bite.